Senate President Bukola Saraki has called for a thorough investigation into Tuesday's invasion of the National Assembly by security operatives. At a news conference in Abuja, Saraki also called on President Muhammadu Buhari to sign the recently amended Electoral Act into law ahead of the 2019 general elections. National Assembly correspondent Joke Adisa completes the story.
24 hours after the invasion of the National Assembly by security personnel, Senate President Bukola Saraki is formally reacting to what he calls a brazen assault on Nigeria's democracy. Opposition party legislators from both chambers and Speaker House of Representatives Yakubu Dogara are on hand to give Saraki the moral and numerical support. He qualifies the blockade as an act of cowardice by those desperate to upturn his leadership through illegal means.
The National Assembly, the seat of democracy in Nigeria, was under lockdown. Senators and members of the House of Representatives were prevented from gaining access. The ensuing standoff was a show of shame that played itself over several hours in full view of the country. In no circumstances should this have happened.
I dare you to shoot this bullet!
Saraki hails the bravery of his colleagues who dared the security men to keep watch over both chambers of the National Assembly and charges Nigerians to continue to hold government accountable for all its actions and inactions. The Senate President stresses the need for government bodies, especially security agencies, to be apolitical if Nigeria's democracy is to be strengthened. Saraki also debunks claims that his state managed the invasion. While expressing National Assembly's readiness to always place the people first, Saraki urges President Muhammadu Buhari to sign the recent amendments to the Electoral Act into law.
I'd like to appeal to Mr. President to sign the new 2018 Electoral Act Amendment Bill, which we passed, which was based on his recommendations and his request. We have passed it and we have sent it to him for his asset.
He is happy at the prompt action taken by Acting President Yemi Osinbajo in sacking the head of DSS. Beyond the sack of Lawal Daura, Senate President Bukola Saraki and other lawmakers say an in-depth investigation should be instituted and culprits brought to justice.
The acting president did the right thing. However, the damage control so far does not address of how this happened in the first place. We call for an investigation and we demand that all proprietors are brought to book.
When you investigate and for everyone involved should be sanctioned. When that happens, it becomes a deterrent.
Now the DSS has done this. You just fire him. No, firing him is not enough. He has to face the law, the consequences of his action.
Some time ago, that some people came all the way from nowhere, entered the Senate chambers and took away the mess. So those things are part of. We've allowed them to continue. One day we'll be here, you see that people have come here to take away either senators or House of Rep members to unknown destination.
There should be a full investigation to find out what truly transpired, to ascertain the characters involved. Because I do not think that the DSS woke up one day and just decided that the National Assembly should be, barricaded.
Saraki insists he is not desperate to hold on to power and will be placed to quit as Senate President if the required two-thirds majority of the 109 senators sign that he be removed. Jokayad TVC News, Abuja.
Joining us now on the news to share his thoughts on this is a lawyer, Kennedy Osonwa. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, now the decision of the acting president to immediately sack the DSS boss, some will say is rather unconventional of the president. Now, what are your thoughts about this decision that has received a lot of praise from so many stakeholders?
Yes, I want to state that the vice president's action is commendable. It is an action that saved the entirety of Nigerians, and also it saved Nigeria also from what the international community would call a barbarian act. Having said that, what played out on that fateful day is nothing but a Kabbalistic and a mafialitic operation of the highest order against the right of franchise of Nigerians. And therefore, the steps that the vice president has taken is in order. But like many Nigerians are saying, there is need for a full-blown investigation into this matter, because the director of DSS cannot on his own unilaterally carry out that action. There are cabals that are behind him. There are people that instigated that action. Who are they? Nigerians need to know what is their target. And of course, before this played out, we know what has been, what played out at the National Assembly, particularly on the defection of the Senate President and the Speaker. And even some quarters I read, saying that the crown that the Senate President is wearing belongs to the ruling party. And this came to play. So there's need for the vice president who is acting for the president now to call for full-blown investigation so as to unmask those that are behind this ugly incident.
There has been several calls for investigations into some other activities, not necessarily this invasion of the Senate, but other cases. And so far, so good. Nothing has come out of it. Do we expect anything to come out of this for this full-blown investigation?
I expect, because the action so far that the vice president has taken is commendable when you look at what has played out in the past. So I also want to, encourage him the more to do beyond what he has done, so as to sanitize. Because if not, what played out is a satanic siege. Is a satanic rage against the people of Nigeria. And it's also a scan of what is going to happen in 2019 if Nigerians fail to pray for this nation.
Okay, looking at all of these issues, what do you think, how do you think this will affect Nigeria's image in the international community?
Well, of course, you and I know that already this action alone has the capacity to batter the image of Nigeria in the Committee of Nations. Because when we're talking, this is National Assembly, for God's sake. They are not there on their own. They are representing the good people of this country. And for some people, or the power must be, or that thought they are, to block them from discharging their constitutional responsibilities. This kind of thing cannot play out in any Western world or in any other country. So it affects the reputation of this government. It also affects the reputation of the democracy that some people even pay the price for us to enjoy. And this is not what the international community is expecting from Nigerians.
Okay,
or from the Nigerians.
now with this, a lot of Nigerians have condemned the act of the DSS.
Yes.
On the invasion of the National Assembly. Will that condemnation ensure that the security operatives, especially government agencies, do not get overzealous in carrying out their activities?
Now, you can say, like what I said initially, the giant step or stride that the vice president has taken is a plus.
Okay.
Then I am calling that let there be a full-blown investigation that will deter other politicians. Because whether you like it or not, this act that was displayed is not the act of the president and the commander-in-chief of the armed forces. It's not the act of the vice president of Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Okay.
But it's also the act of some politicians that want to have their way. But every act of illegality is punishable. And that is why there is need for a very thorough investigation on this matter, so that it will serve the politicians. We now know it is not the time where politicians can make use of government agencies in order to achieve their personal interest. Will be a thing of the past. But if we just dance over it like the ones of the past, then it will continue.
All right, thank you very much, Kennedy Osuma, for talking to us on this issue. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
This is the Midday News. We'll take a quick break and return with more stories. Stay tuned.